White Beam, to me, is a very intriguing upset possibility. She should be 4, 5, 6 to 1. Thank you for visiting Past the Wire TV, the YouTube channel of PastTheWire.com. Yes, the name of the show is Saratoga Saturday. Yes, this is episode 2 on Past the Wire TV in the 2023 meet. But everybody is not exactly at Saratoga. Let's say hello to our friend P Val.
It's early morning and look what I'm doing. Yeah. Catching the big one here in Del Mar.
Tracking trips with Pick 6 King John Stetton. It's one of the best tools in horse racing for any level of player. It's your second set of eyes, spotting troubled trips, betting angles, track trends, horses to watch and favorites to fade, 10 figs, ticket structure, and more. At Tracking Trips, you're a friend with benefits. Not a member? You must hate winning money. Join Tracking Trips now. Visit PastTheWire.com and we'll see you in the winner's circle. Remember, nobody does it better.
I don't know. I've always felt that it does not get better than Saratoga by day, Del Mar by night for those of us on the East Coast. I guess if you're on the West Coast, it's Saratoga in the morning, Del Mar in the afternoon. But Saratoga Del Mar is probably the best doubleheader in all of sports. So we've got Saratoga to talk about. We're going to sprinkle in a little Del Mar for Saturday as well. And we're even going to touch base on a big race over on the Jersey Shore, the Haskell, which in my opinion is quite a race this year. So we'll talk a little bit about the Haskell as well, and hopefully have some fun and maybe even make some money. Frankie Dettori. Ciao, Frankie. Tutto a posto.
Tutto a posto. Yes, that's a good start. So you haven't lost your Italian. Frankie Dettori, legend, world-class jockey, one of the best ever to sit in the saddle, ambassador to the sport of kings. Meet Frankie during his fanfare like never before, only on Past the Wire TV.
It looks like we are going to be on the grass on Saturday at the spa. And in the first race, Kevin Rice runs a first-time starter going long. Not easy to win first time out going long for any trainer. And this is not really something that Kevin Rice or Adam Rice or any of the Rices excel at. But they are great horse people. They are great trainers. Adam, I've made some big scores with. He's Taylor's sister. Kevin, equally as dangerous. They already won a race this meet at the spa. When they ship in from Presque Isle, where they're based at this time of year, they're dangerous and they come to run. And when Jose, who's married to Taylor Rice, rides for them, they generally mean business. Now, Jose had a fall on Friday in the first race, so let's hope he is okay, God willing. But they come to run, so that's the first horse that I want to mention. The next horse I want to mention is not really a horse that's going to be a price, but I think is probably one of the most likely winners on the card, and that's in the fifth race, the one horse Undervalued Asset. Chad Brown's filly from the rail, going 7/8 of a mile, has been on my radar for a while. She ran a dud a couple of back, and she came up a little bit short last time. I think she's dead set and dead fit for her best effort tomorrow. Again, she's not going to be a price, but that's the fifth race, so it's the last leg of the pick 5, the early one. It's the first leg of the middle pick 4, if you're so inclined. And in my opinion, she's a single and probably one of the most likely winners on the entire card. Very, very tough to beat. The next race is a very interesting race to me, and I was torn between two horses. The Caress Stakes, it's a grade 3 at 5.5 on the turf. We're assuming that they're going to be on the turf, but both horses I like. Or a little bit of a price, and I'm kind of going inside outside. You've got Bubble Rock, who's 2-1 on the morning line. Roses for Deborah, 9-5 on the morning line. Poppy Flower, 3-1 on the morning line. I lean away from all three of them: Cox, Clement, and Mott. Well, one of the horses I like is another Mott, but I look really long and hard at the one off flash drive from Mark Cassie, who I think under Dylan Davis is going to sit a very cozy, nice trip on the rail. I think she's fast enough and got a good enough burst to win here. She's coming out of a sprint at Woodbine that I like, and it was a pretty fast race for a Woodbine race. I think she's awfully dangerous, sitting a very, very, very cozy trip. That said, I can't single her and I can't single the other horse because of the two of them. So I'm going to either use both of them in a multi-race wager, or I'm going to have to, make a game time decision on which way I'm going to go. But on the outside, Waka Naka turning back, and it's tough to turn back from those routes to this sprint distance unless you really get a big field with a lot of pace, and it's a kind of fall apart kind of race. But I think she's classier and probably better than these fillies. And if she can handle sprinting, and Mott apparently thinks that she can, I think that she can run by all of these, especially over an honest turf course. So that's that's definitely, you know, a potential play for me. And if one of those two scratch, it makes it real easy of a decision for me, because those are the two I like in there. And there's three horses that are going to be shorter prices than both of them. So, we got to play the hand that we are dealt. We'll talk a little bit about the Coaching Club American Oaks. I don't have a really strong opinion there. Who's your filly, who was very hyped up at 2, didn't really deliver at 3, seems to be kind of coming around now and is the main speed. But Gambling Girl is going to be stalking her, looking to run her down. Like Saratoga, we know that I like horses that like that racetrack. And Wet Paint, I originally thought was better than all of these 3-year-old fillies, and she really hasn't duplicated her Oaklawn form, although she hasn't had the most ideal setups in her races to do that. So that should be an interesting race to watch. I don't think Southlawn is as good as those other 3. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so. But brings us to the last horse I want to mention on the Saratoga card. And it's an angle. If you watched the Pure Platinum Saratoga angles show that I did, I called it the missing angles, because on the show that I originally intended to do it on, I forgot to do it. And everybody was saying, where are the angles? And I'm like, they're on there. And they're like, no, they weren't. So lo and behold, they weren't. So we did a separate show with the Saratoga angles. One of the ones that I spoke about, horses that win at the meet and come and run back quick for a second time at the meet and win again. And Talking Pharaoh won 6 days ago for Linda Rice, wheels right back at 10-1, stepping way up in class. You get that price on those step ups and those wheel backs, and sometimes they just defy logic, defy odds, defy class, and defy everything else, and just come right back to win over the racetrack. I love those horses. I love watching them. I love betting on them, and many a one that did not make sense have come back and won and went past any race that they may have run prior to that. So Talking Pharaoh, if it's not a scratch, is one that I will definitely, absolutely 100% be paying attention to, and probably using in any late multi-race wages I decide to get involved with. Other than that, it was a regular Saratoga card. It wasn't outstanding with some big field, so that's good. The weather looks like it's going to be good, so that's good. A lot of maidens, we like that. We'll see how all that shakes out, and we'll be picking some maidens as the meet goes forward. We had that one Concerti last week, that one, but we'll see what happens. And we had that White Beam, so we'll come up with a few more of those for sure. We did our show, the Haskell by the Thoroughgraph Numbers and Patterns. So if you watch that, who's moving forward, who's moving back, who's staying the same, who's moving forward, and it's not enough to win. Everything that the numbers are telling us if you watch that show. And if you didn't, I would suggest watching it. Those shows have been phenomenal, and the Thoroughgraphs have not, and my interpretation of them thus far, have not let us down at all since the Triple Crown races started with the Kentucky Oaks and Derby. The Oaks are obviously not Triple Crown, but we nailed the Oaks, Derby, Preakness, Belmont. I called it wrong, but the numbers were right. We're going to do the test. Like I said, we're going to do the Travers. Like I said, we've done the Haskell. It's up. And the Haskell this year is a really interesting race. Handicapped it, looked at the numbers, did all my work, and I'm torn between two horses. One is Arabian Night, who I think is sitting on a peak effort, and we know Bob Baffert in the Haskell is deadly. But the way the race looks to me, and the pace and the setup goes, I've got to take a shot with Salute the Stars at a price. I just think he is sitting in the garden spot. I think he may be a late up and comer that, is just working his way onto the radar now. And his last race was fast enough to be competitive. So he doesn't have to go forward. He's just got to run as good as he ran last time. And he's got a pattern that suggests to me he can go forward. Mage is scary. Tapit Trice looks to me like he's sitting on a regress type pattern that we talk about on the show, but obviously dangerous. Looks like there's plenty of pace in there or enough pace in there, but I think Salute the Stars gets a garden trip if he's good enough. So he and Arabian Night are the two that I lean to in there. If Mage wins, he also gets a good trip, I think. And, he's run the fastest race of anybody. His Derby, was a 0 on Thoroughgraph. That's faster than anybody's run thus far. Salute the Stars has a 1. Tapit Trice has a 1, 2 1s actually. But I think that horse is pretty pretty live. So that's my thought on the Haskell. Now, we saw P Val's at Del Mar. We love Del Mar. Couple of opinions on the Saturday card, and we'll sprinkle that in. We're going to call the show Saratoga Saturday because that's what we do, and we're East Coast Saratoga focused. But there are a couple of things to talk about at Del Mar. One is, excuse me, in the 7th race, the 9-horse Awake at Midnight, who puts blinkers on and has only had 1 race on the grass, is 10 to 1 on the morning line, and looks to me like she will really, really get a good setup. And if the blinkers don't make her speedy, but make her more focused, I think that she sits a great trip. I think that she goes forward in her second grass start. Now, her first one was a while ago, but that doesn't matter. This is her second grass start. She's familiar with it. I think she's classy. I think she's run with, fillies that are as good, at least as good, maybe even better than these on the dirt. And I think she can definitely move that form over to the grass course. And I think she's really dangerous. I'm hoping for anything close to that 10 to 1. Bob Baffert has a very fast working arrogant filly in the 8th race that's probably going to get all the money. And if she's as good as the hype and the work say, she'll probably jog under Juan Hernandez. And we know he's deadly with these maidens, especially early in the meet. But you are in trouble. The 10-horse. For Doug O'Neill catches my eye a little bit too. So if Bob's horse is not all that, or is, gets off bad or something fluky happens, I would pay attention to Doug's horse, even though she's got that 10-hole outside draw in a 5-furlong race at Del Mar, which is certainly not ideal. So that's our thoughts. Quick show today, a lot going on. So I apologize. We'll probably be more in depth next week as we get into the 3rd week of the meet and really get rolling. But we're going to take a quick break. Then I'm going to come back and talk about something a little bit unrelated to all of this. But it's horse racing, so it all ties together. And I want to voice my opinion on something, which I will share with everybody momentarily.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Vino Rosso has taken the lead, and it's a vintage performance by Vino Rosso.
Here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING. Get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator exclusively on DRF Bets.
It costs you more than 20, Frank. I'll be more than 20 in New York.
It is here, the big day, the day almost all of us in horse racing wait for, Breeders' Cup Saturday. It looks like we're going to see some really, really impressive races on Saturday. It starts with the filly and mare sprint. One of my stronger opinions on the card is Goodnight Olive to start things off. I think she gets a perfect trip.
Goodnight Olive, 6 in a row and a Breeders' Cup champion.
We've got Modern Games going in the Turf Mile for Godolphin. The Godolphin and Aidan O'Brien horses we said on Past the Wire TV all week long on the backside. Those two contingents stuck out from all the rest. Modern Games looking for a big race from him.
Modern Games storming down the center of the course. Modern Games, a 2-time Breeders' Cup winner. You bet he is.
That is Rebels Romance, who in my humble opinion is one of Godolphin's better chances this year. Rebels Romance is a very, very good looking Godolphin horse that can absolutely win this race. Rebels Romance is a must use.
Rebels Romance rolling on the outside. Warlock got it. Makes her bid down toward the inside. Rebels Romance down the center of the course. Has it close to home. Rebels Romance wins the turf over Stoney.
We got Flightline that they're putting in the best ever category. There's no question that the race he ran in the Pacific Classic is one of the best races we've seen any racehorse run ever.
It is Flightline. It is mind-tingling, jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring, Secretariat-like Breeders' Cup Classic win. He won it by 8 lengths.
You know, you can take my shrimp fried rice, you can take my Italian ice, but don't take my coconuts. Off limits. Not happy. I mean, they took away the pick six for all intents and purposes. What's left of it now they're messing with indirectly. I don't like what happened with college football and the Breeders' Cup and the coverage and the Breeders' Cup Classic being moved up earlier on the card so it can run earlier in the day. And now it's no longer the last race in the Breeders' Cup Pick Six, as I understand it. And it, changes the strategy of the Pick Six. It changes the strategy of the late Pick Five. It changes the strategy of the late Pick Four. And it definitely impacts the Breeders' Cup betting challenge. I'm 100% against it. The Breeders' Cup is our Super Bowl, our World Championships. It's a worldwide event. We should have our own coverage and not have to bow down, cow down, kneel down, lay down for anybody or any other sport. Know your worth, know your value, know who you are and what you demand. I'd rather have our Breeders' Cup coverage on our own network, on TVG, on anything else, on Past the Wire TV. I don't care where you put it, but I'd rather have it where we can all watch it on one place in high definition with great coverage geared towards the people that are actually wagering, not the people that are wondering who's wearing what hat. No. And now you're taking it a step further. I mean, Kentucky Derby Day is frustrating going from network to network. And, those of us that get the, racing package can't even watch it because it gets blocked out. Now they're changing the Classic not to be the last race of the Breeders' Cup just so they can have, what is it, NBC, whoever it is, coverage. No, I say no. Nobody asked me, but if they did, I say no. I veto it. I think we all should veto it. We all should say no. It's just a bad move for racing, and it just shows, the decline of our sport. I played that video, the Jockey Club Gold Cup of me on the rail with John Henry back in, what was it, 1982, whatever it was. Horse racing, #1 spectator sport in the country. Okay, we're not that anymore, but we're still the sport of kings. Like I said, mess with certain things. Certain things are off limits. Changing the Breeders' Cup Classic from being the last race on the Breeders' Cup card to me is a joke and a not funny one. I'm fighting words. I'm against it. I'm not for it. I wish there was something that I could do about it, but again, nobody's listening to me or you for that matter. So they're not listening to us. Maybe we should make them listen to us, and there's ways of doing that, and that's by pulling back the handle. But that'll never happen. I wrote an article about that. Who really yields the power in horse racing? And it's us. I'm not united, and there's too many of us that are going to bet no matter what. But all you got to do is wait till 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Breeders' Cup Friday and not make a bet, and they will all come to the table and put the Classic anywhere that we want it. But that's not going to happen. I said the same thing about the Derby. Not going to happen. We're just not united. They bank on us betting on anything they throw at us and any product they put at us and any rules they enforce on us, be it crop, this, that, the other thing. And we consistently as a whole prove them right. I don't. I'm very selective in what I bet, where I bet, and how I bet. I bet much less and much more selectively than I ever have, and I will continue to do that because I look at it as an investment, and I'm going to invest where, when, and how, and in what I want to. Nobody's going to dictate that to me, and I suggest you're all the same. So if you agree with me about the Classic, adjust your strategy and wagering accordingly. Now, we all want to bet the Breeders' Cup, but it's just a bad move. Write letters, forward, put in the comments how you feel about it on this video so I could send them to the powers that be at the Breeders' Cup, at NBC, and all these places, because I could get to all of them and get them to look at it. So put it in the comments. It's a terrible move. Terrible move. The Classic is the anchor. You don't mess with the anchor. You don't buy a brand new Ferrari and go out and get an aftermarket spoiler at Walmart. There are just certain things that you do not do. That's one of them. You don't mess with the Classic. You can take my Italian ice. You can take my shrimp fried rice, but don't take my coconuts. Okay, everybody. Ciao for now. We will be back on next week with another Saratoga Saturday. Hopefully sans the venting. But you never know. In this game, there's always something to talk about. So we'll see what happens. In any event, thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any races that you want the thoroughgraph numbers and patterns on that are not on the menu, which are the test and the Travers. And everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the races, and ciao for now. Does it better.